Attention residents of Arkham City. We have a new inmate joining us for this next part of Batman Arkham City.
Hi.
Matthew Roddy J. Cooper, please explain to the audience why you have been sentenced to life here in Arkham City.
Well, I made so many puns in my life that, can't help but, destroy the fabric of reality using all my own puns.
That was his DC supervillain named the Punisher.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, remote-controlled batarangs.
By the way, how's that lawsuit with Marvel coming along?
Oh.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about your reaction, by the way, Logan.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So I do want to take a second just to bring Matt up to speed. As far as story progression goes, we're here at the abandoned GCPD unit because this is where Mr. Freeze was last held, and we need to talk to him about finding a cure for Joker's illness. Because
I know.
Well, I'm also recapping for the audience sake as well.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair.
Just fun fact, this is my favorite Batman game, and one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love it, and how dare y'all ignore me? How dare?
Well,
there was a lot of...
you did say you were fine with missing out on the first couple parts, so...
Right.
So, but yeah, basically, we were going to find Mr. Freeze to help him get a secure for the Joker, but it turns out...
Zappity zap!
Yeah, but as it turns out, Mr. Freeze is not here. Instead, we have a bunch of Penguin mooks, so I think it's safe to assume Penguin probably got to the Iceman first.
Oh, nuts. And then, yeah, beyond that, okay, yeah, so to quickly explain why I reacted like that, it's just...
Dude.
Just hearing me out here, like, just the image in my head is like, first off, that was a pretty decent, whoever the hell it is who plays Yensid.
Corey Byrne?
Yeah, that was a good Corey Burton impression for, him being, freaking Doctor Strange or whatever his name is.
Hugo Strange.
Yeah, Hugo Strange.
Cool. Hugo Strange.
Now you...
So,
Where's Freeze? He's in the museum. Penguin's got him.
Cool, Mr. His head kind of balled around like you were actually working like a puppet, like...
Yeah.
Did you say he was in the... Where did you say
Museum.
he was, Judson?
The age-old, what's the Sentai Ranger issue?
Yeah.
I am very happy I got you to laugh, by the way, Logan.
Well, no, okay,
it was a fun reaction.
Because again, okay, so this is how it played out in my head was freaking.
Uh-oh.
This is how it played out in my head was like Hugo Strange is there like, we will now introduce the new inmate, and he steps aside, and then it's just Matt in like just Friday casual, just hi, it's me.
Hey, it's like the whole thing with Kung Fu Panda 2, where it's like, greetings, Panda. We meet. Hey, how's it going? Hey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, to catch you up to speed, Matt. We've already been infected, and we gotta figure out the
I
cure.
know.
It's all fine. So basically,
Hey, Logan, guess who's beaten this game 100%?
Yeah, but you didn't know. You had no way of knowing how far we were into the story yet.
Yeah, I did.
He read the script?
Oh, why don't I get the script anymore?
we have scripts.
All right, let's hack this. Dissect. Okay.
Because it's the, yeah, I get it.
Is there? I forgot. Is there a way beyond maybe any like clues you get hype? Is it really just kind of like guesswork to figure out what those passwords are depending on their difficulty?
It basically is, but I mentioned before, I personally think that the hacking in this is a lot more easier to do than the one in Asylum.
Yeah.
I mean, it pretty much functions it functions the exact same. It's just that they make the tell of how it actually succeeds a little easier by making it a war game.
Okay.
So yeah, in a vain attempt to keep us from getting to the museum, Penguin has men blow up the bridge, and apparently taking out a few in the process, which, no skin off Penguin's large nose.
Of course not.
Or the eye that's got jammed with the bottle.
Speaking of, like, Nolan North, this proves how good of a voice actor he is, because nobody knew that it was Nolan until it was like the credits.
Right, it's hands down one of my favorite roles of his. Like, definitely one of his most diverse roles as well.
Yeah, I actually can't hear him as the Penguin at all.
Yeah.
I could sort of hear it with some of the grunts he makes, but otherwise, yeah, it is a fairly distinct role for Nolan.
I would say it's when he gets like really loud is where you're able to hear it. Oh, and this is something that I should go ahead and clarify. This is pretty much what we're going to be spending. Excuse me. This is pretty much what we're going to be spending the next 2 parts on. Pretty much clearing out one big side mission. So Ice Boy's going to have to wait for a bit.
All right.
Well,
I guess he's going to have to be on ice.
Well, actually,
So we have to.
I told you the reason why I was imprisoned.
Yeah. Also, look, a
one's
political
fine.
prisoner.
Oh yeah, that's actually something. We should probably take care of that real quick before we do anything, because, you know, it sounds important.
I don't know, one of those prisoners, man, he seems like a creep to me.
I actually don't know that.
It's the Creeper, the radio guy.
Yeah, Jack Ryder.
Which, they confirmed the Creeper is in this universe, and they hint that Jack is the Creeper, but they never actually show him?
They forgot to do it. They forgot to do something about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey there, dude.
You can sort of.
What is your
Literally-
opinion on the matter, sir?
Just literally walked up and just. Boom.
There's someone after me. He's trying
Jeez, you
God,
look
your
like-
face!
Yeah, you look like you could use a freaking,
Yeah,
Yeah.
why don't you go visit Bruce Wayne's friend? He's a surgeon, his name is Thomas Elliot.
He
so-
he looks like he should sound like Droopy.
Just a little bit.
Dude,
Oh me!
Ew.
Oh, there
I
I go again.
That means
So, yeah.
you're very
So-
bad.
So yeah, just to bring, so like I
Man,
said,
that guy, that guy was shot to death.
Anyway, so that was one of the political prisoners that was stuck in here. Basically, political people that worked for Strange and pretty much were dropped into Arkham City so that Strange doesn't have to worry about them coming back to, like, bite him in his bum. And apparently someone is doing the deed of pretty much cleaning up Hugo's mess and making sure that they don't live long enough to tell any of his secrets.
God, I'm sorry, but like that whole what just happened there, especially with the whole political prisoner thing, that reminds me of the first it's not the first Purge movie, but it's literally called The First Purge or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it was a Purge prequel, and yeah, no one cares about the plot in that movie. Go ahead.
Pequel?
I'm
I
sorry.
never heard of a pequel before.
People. But what was I about to say? The whole thing of pretty much Hugo Strange, using whoever just shot that political prisoner. Spoiler warnings, it's probably Deadshot.
Yeah, he just said it was Deadshot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I said that guy was shot to death.
Anyway, that whole thing of having someone else clean Hugo's mess. It's like I can imagine him being on the intercom being all like, "Leave no marks behind. May I recommend Charmin."
I've uploaded everything I know about the victim. I'll be
Dun-dun-dun.
But yeah, that's a bit of a predicament, so that's also just going to be something to keep an eye out for throughout the playthrough. There's going to be random points in the game where Deadshot is going to be going off and assassinating various figures in Arkham City to clean up the mess. You'll hear it, like, whenever you hear, like, a gunshot, be sure to go where it is so you can be able to, like, crime scene it out and get yourself one step closer to Deadshot. But that is for later. Right now, we're going to head on over to the church.
Right now, we have a riddle to answer.
Oh. I mean, that just kind of okay. Also, yeah, in the back of my mind I was like, well, wait, if we hear a gunshot, maybe we can save the person. Oh no, if it's Deadshot who did the gunshot, there's no
Yeah, they're
way.
dead.
Yeah, he's very good at making shots that you would think are complete BS, but somehow work.
May I remind the audience out there that Gotham Knight is a thing.
Yeah.
Literally, the last short that they aired had Deadshot literally make the most ridiculous shot straight from an amusement park all the way to some political guy's house party.
Let's not forget
yeah.
that Deadshot's literal first appearance in Suicide Squad was firing a gun off of a ricochet, off of another ricochet, that both of them he planted, and hitting a target right in the back of the head between like 5 people.
Indeed.
Again, there's a reason why he's the best assassin in the DC universe.
Even
Or
better.
at the very least one of them.
I was gonna say, I bet there's like. Oh, hang on.
He's so good at his job that not even Superman can make him talk.
Well,
Shut it, almighty tallest.
Yeah. So yeah, just like with Arkham Asylum, we're gonna have to be dealing with Riddler, and his shtick here is, again, pretty similar to what happens in Asylum. He's pretty much hid a bunch of, like, little trophies and little riddles all throughout City. However, whereas in City, there's a good chunk of them, like, a sizable chunk, but enough to deal with. Arkham City, there's, like, 5 times more than that. Some would argue to an almost egregious
you said
point.
Arkham City twice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in Asylum, City has more than Asylum did, and unfortunately,
yeah, well,
much
to
more than
be fair,
Asylum.
To be fair, Asylum was more like a Metroidvania. This is more of this is an open world game. This is much more open world. So obviously, it's like about 2 times, 3 times the size of Asylum. However, here's one nuisance I do have about this game. There are some trophies that after a certain point, they are inaccessible.
oh crap.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there are. I can think of at least 1 or 2 that are like that. I don't know if I, like, highlight them in this playthrough, but that is just something you do have to keep in mind. And I will go into detail about this real quick. The whole shtick with Riddler here is that, like, one of the reasons that he's pretty much kidnapped...
He's a stickler.
Okay, anyway, so as you can see, Riddler pretty much kidnapped all of the staff that are here at the church, and he has them hidden in several different places in Arkham City. Now, what would happen is after you rescue one, you get a code to debrief, but Riddler will pretty much block your access to get to the next hostage until you gather a certain amount of, like, riddles and trophies throughout Arkham City. And a lot of people have made it clear that it's probably one of the more tedious aspects of Arkham City. However, like I mentioned before, New Game Plus, pretty much, you do have to redo a lot of the missions, but a lot of your progression gets carried over, and that accounts to collectibles, like the Riddler stuff. So if you collected all of Riddler's trinkets in your first playthrough, when you go to New Game Plus, it's just a simple matter of going from hostage to hostage to hostage, and you can pretty much clear out the Riddler campaign in one fell swoop, which is what I'm going to be doing for this and the next part.
Hooray. And just to let you know, sure, it might be slightly annoying in this game. At least it isn't fucking Arkham Knight.
Yeah, they just didn't know when to quit.
Yeah,
Do I have to do that? Do I have to do that in Origins?
Origins has it. I will give Origins a bit of credit. There's not as many in Origins as there is in City. The payoff at the end isn't quite as satisfying.
Yeah, I will say the one thing. Okay, I like Origins for the most part. My only problem with Origins is how it tries to convince me that, like, at least 5 or 6 of Batman's greatest rogues were all created in one fucking night.
Really? I feel like that seems. I feel like that seems a little bit not what the hell's the word? It feels a little unrealistic for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of exaggerating, but it's at least like 3 or 4 villains that, like, obviously Joker, Riddler, multiple villains they tried to, like, shoehorn into that game and go like, oh yeah, this is Batman's first time meeting him, all on Christmas Eve. This was
Batman's first time meeting him. This was Batman's first time meeting him. This was Batman's first time meeting him. After this was Batman's first. Also, the thing I was laughing about earlier, just for a second, there was that the fact that again, a little sequence played out in my head of we showed up, ambushed these guys, and one of them went, "It's the Bat!" And right as we kicked him in the jaw and sent him flying into a car, and I don't know why. And I don't know why. I just had the image in my head of like that
guy got
actually
punched
being.
in the dick.
Yep.
Yes, he does. That happens sometimes.
Just had the image of like that guy actually being hit hard enough in the jaw into the car, actually being enough to kill him, and it's the Bat. Immediately cuts to a cemetery with a tombstone. It just and his like embezzled emblazoned quote on the tombstone engraved. That's the word. His engraved quote is just died. It's the Bat.
Yeah,
like his last words.
I will say one aspect of the game that we will not be showing off, because again, New Game Plus, Hype's already got all that said and done. That reason why we had that, sudden yet mandatory book encounter earlier is because that was the point where they wanted to introduce the gimmick of Riddler informants.
Oh,
yep.
So that's how we learned about.
Yeah, that's basically how you. in Arkham Asylum, you would just find, like, these random maps that would highlight where certain riddles and whatnot are. In City, whenever there's, like, a group of baddies or just one randomly running around, they will be highlighted green. Those are Riddler informants. What you want to do with them is not knock them out, but stun them long enough to where you can be able to interrogate them.
Yeah, remember
and that's
the
where
guy...
you get, like...
Remember the guy we interrogated earlier in...
To learn about Penguin and the
yeah,
Mr. Freeze,
learn about Penguin? Yeah, it's basically that, what we want to do.
Okay.
And just to let you know, in this game, you know, pretty interesting, pretty fine to knock him out and all that. Yeah, again, fuck Arkham Knight, because the Batmobile can just instantly knock people out without a second thought and without your input.
Meep, meep.
Okay,
But
you know what? It's funny that you say that, because I do know that it is possible. If you're a little reckless or non-observant, you can accidentally knock out a Riddler mook for good, thus locking you out of, like, finding information and
No,
whatnot.
exactly! I did that once! I had to revert back to a previous save because of that shit.
Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that was something that they handled better in the sequels, though. Because in this game, yeah, no, like if you punch that book down in the face, that's
that was in the sequel to this.
Oh, I thought they changed the system in that, like, you can technically knock them out, but you're not immediately screwed from the Riddler informant. Unlike this game, where it's kind of a one and done situation.
He gave you something, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I remember screwing myself over on Riddler informant. It might have been in this game or another one.
It's an enigma.
That's fine. Oh yeah, this is basically... This box is basically what you're going to be needing for a good chunk of progression in the Riddler side mission. Whenever you rescue a hostage and you're able to decrypt a code that they give you, Riddler will, true to his name, give you a riddle. And you use these two wheels by rotating the two sticks to pretty much line up with a word that pretty much solves the riddle that he gives you.
Yay.
Great.
Also, why is he... Go ahead. You first, James. You haven't talked in a bit.
I think I had the same question that you did. How come Riddler's, call reception has gotten a lot worse since Arkham Asylum?
Yeah, he sounds like freaking Shodan from freaking System Shock.
I'm pretty sure the in-game explanation is, ooh, he's so far away and so underground, you can't find him. Meta reason is it sounds fucking cool. Deal with it.
I mean, it does. It does. I won't deny that.
I mean, love the... Go ahead.
Who's to say that's not the in-game explanation as well? He wants to prove he's cooler than Batman. And
I want to sound fucking awesome, Batman.
This entire time he isn't actually using some filter. He's just actually... He's freaking like Roger Craig.
I have always... Wait, it was always my dream to be Max Headroom.
I also just love... my imagination's been running freaking wild today. This probably is not good. But, the image that freaking... Don't use the explosive gel bat? Okay.
It's a fake wall, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
It's weak stuff.
Just
actually,
with Matt saying that he want you first, hype.
Well, I was about to say, I'll let you continue your point, but I want to put a pin on it real quick, because this is basically a thing that's going to be happening. Whenever you find a building that has a Riddler hostage in it, pretty much... Apparently, Riddler's been binging a lot of Saw, because you're pretty much, for every hostage you have to rescue, you have to go through these very Saw-esque challenge rooms in order to get to the end and actually rescue the hostage.
Gotcha.
Honestly, let's be fair. Riddler probably loves every single Saw movie, probably has the Blu-ray collection of them all, and in the next game just decides to go, you know what, why do I need this
I love
hat?
this part.
Man.
Sure. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, Edward.
Oh, yeah. I have to wait till the hologram's done first before I open it, which is weird.
Also, apparently, and we mentioned all the Saw stuff. Ironically, the Saw game, not that good.
I imagine not.
Oh, it's fucking terrible.
It's just it just honestly played like a lamer version of this game.
Yeah, honestly, people go watch the completionist reviews on that game. They're fucking hilarious.
Kind of thing, wasn't that the one that Konami published all those years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, real quick,
so.
I want to talk about this. This is also another fun thing you can do with New Game Plus. You're supposed to use those buttons to pretty much open paths that open for a limited amount of time.
Oh.
But when you have a line launcher, you can just cheese through it.
Because the line launcher lets you grapple over any surface.
And best part...
Oh! So they did actually plan for New Game Plus.
Well, what happens is that, like, I think that is funny, but I think one thing I've seen people do is you can technically run through those, like, electric pads. It's not an auto kill, but it does drain your health. If you're bold enough, you can pretty much run to the end. Probably still have only a slither of health left, but you can't just run to the end and not worry about doing the puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah, they really should have. Really should have thought that one through.
Well, he probably didn't think we would be stupid enough to actually run on the electric pads.
Well, who does he think I am? Superman.
Yeah. Wait. So 625-925. Also, this is. I'm not gonna actually say it now. But okay. So off the top of my head, a number of things I have to say. One is that 625-925. Let's look for it. So. Yeah, no, the imagination running wild. Now I just imagine that when Matt mentioned that Riddler has his communication sounding like this just because he wanted to sound cool, I just imagine...
Wait, what are you doing?
I just imagine one of his mooks walking to... No. I just imagine one of his mooks walking up to him going, Boss, there is no significance to you doing this. Why do you do it? And Riddler just walks up to him and just smacks him and points at and then he just points at a whiteboard where he's just written in green, because I sound cool, and that's the only thing he has written on that board, just in case anyone asks.
Think about it. Why does the Batman put on that stupid voice of his?
Yeah. Also, the other thing I'm thinking of is,
in some versions it's just a filter, sir.
And then the thing that James brought up that now had me thinking is, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to pull the Ant-Man Avengers thing. With all this hell going on right now, is this supposed to take place before Batman ever had any, interactions with the other Justice League members?
I'm going to assume that DC, this is just an instance of DC really loving to play on the fact that Batman is pretty much an I-can-do-anything machine and didn't bother adding in the Justice League to this.
They do actually mention Justice League members every now and then in this series, especially in Arkham Knight. Hell,
that's fair. That's the last one.
For fuck's sake, in Night they have a Lex Luthor cameo.
Really? Yeah, he calls Bruce Wayne on his voicemail.
Yeah.
Well, I know in this game, Hugo Strange makes mention that he wants to build Arkham cities all across, the inner part of the U.S., like, or as far
Metropolis
as
and Keystone,
like Metropolis and wherever the Flash is.
Right.
Keystone. Although
Keystone,
I think Keystone might be Green Arrow.
Oh.
Could be.
Well, it was
basically. It's the swapping cup game. Pretty hard, isn't it? Not when you do this.
Oh. Jeez. So, the fool, he never was being moved all along. Tricky. I wonder if he'll react. I wonder if he'll, I wonder if he'll tease us for having done this.
Ding ding!
What? No.
Nope.
How did you do that?
Excuse me.
Good thing he's never quite savvy to realize we still have our detective mode.
How did I do that? Well, let me answer you, Nigma. It's because I'm no Batman!
Oh shit! Hey, Walter White.
Yeah, but I forgot it. How heartbroken would you feel if he actually just said that?
That he forgot you were Batman.
No, that he forgot. No, that he forgot what the code was. Although I would also be equally heartbroken if I did all of this, used my detective vision, showed up dressed as a bat, and this guy went, "Were you?" I would feel like the last 20 years of my life had been wasted on a worthless, thankless job.
Apparently, Bruce has that fragile of an ego.
Have you never ever heard of the Rat Man?
By the way, Kai, have you never heard of the Rat Catcher? That is a Batman villain, by the way.
Of course it's a Batman villain.
Because those songs have been, like, living rent-free in my head for a while now, I'm just imagining, like, Bruce, and he's forcing, like, Dick and Tim to do it with him. Rats. We're the rats.
You don't want to say
Pray
it,
at night, we
sir.
stalk at night. We're the rats.
And then just Jason Todd with the fat suit. I'm the giant rat that makes all of the rules.
You see what kind of trouble that we'll get ourselves into.
I would be, to be fair, I would be equally terrified as a ne'er-do-well if I was in some alleyway and I hear that shit echoing from down the alleyway as it creeps closer. I would attempt to run to distance myself from that sound.
That was another image of, like, say Joker's trying to run away from Batman. He's in a dark corridor. He doesn't see him. And just as a tactic to scare him, you just hear, Joker, it's your birthday today. Kick the ice cream as hard as hard.
No, but just like, I'll set up the freaking scene. Like, you're being involved in a mugging. Like, okay, just for the hypothetical sake, imagine like you're a mugger, and there's an alleyway, and they just hear this rats. And you're like, what the hell's that?
Where are the rats?
We're stuck at night. Just like, and then you're just
get this idea that, like, you hear that, then all of a sudden the Dark Knight Returns version of Batman, because that's the thickest version of Batman, slams down and he's like, I'm the giant rat that makes all of the rules.
Actually, no, let's not even think about it. We could just make our own parody of that. Bats, we're bats.
Actually, yeah. Okay, yeah. Stay tuned, everybody, for when we get. Stay tuned, everybody, for when we get to Gotham Knights, because that's gonna be what we're gonna sing the entire time.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for our next part of Mad Bat Dad.
There you go.
I'm Ratman.
Open your gifts, then we all cheer.